Hi, my name is Sierra Everett, and my project title is For Us, By Us, Humor Theory, Black Agency, and Cultural Significance in the Boondocks. Starting with my intro here, I have the controversial and satirical work of Aaron McGruder's animated series, The Boondocks, criticizes society while employing humor to compound the effects of comedy and shock. My thesis here today, I'm going to be applying superiority theory and incongruity theory to 3 episodes of the Boondocks today. And I think it's important to note that when I apply these theories, it's only when an attempt at humor is made from the creators of the show, because that is the only time it is appropriate and acceptable to apply these theories. So, starting with the first episode here, thank you for not snitching. Granddad here, who is pictured at the bottom left, gets his car stolen, and Riley is the only person who is aware of who stole the car. So, the episode kind of revolves around them trying to get that information out of Riley, but Riley has something against snitching. He's like, I'm not telling you who stole the car because people will think of me in a bad way. I'm not telling anyone. And towards the end of the episode, Riley himself actually gets his bike stolen, and he visibly witnesses who steals his bike, but he is so inclined against snitching that he doesn't talk about it. He doesn't tell who it was. He just throws a tantrum and moves on with his day. um so I have a quote here from Huey Freeman, who is pictured in the middle here, and he says, "It's no secret that Black people are culturally inclined against snitching," and this can be linked back to slave times, where Black slaves who informed their owners on other slaves who were trying to escape were looked down upon and seen as traitors. Except for now, instead of reporting information to a slave owner, it would be reporting information to a law enforcement authority. Um, so you see a little bit of superiority theory there, because you could feel, as an audience member, you can feel superior to Riley, who gets his bike stolen at the end of the episode there, or the characters feel superior to Riley because when he does get his bike stolen, Granddad is aware that his bike is stolen. He's actually the one who sets Riley up to get his bike stolen, and he laughs at Riley, and it's out of a superior feeling. He feels superior to Riley because Riley wouldn't say who stole his car, and now he's not snitching of who stole Riley's bike. Going down to the second episode here, it takes place in 3 different time periods. So it goes through a timeline of Obama's presidency. So we have before the election, the inauguration, and present day. And with each time period, I have a quote that kind of sum up each and every time period there. So for the before the election, I have empowered by the prospect of a Black president, but not in the way society will hope or expect. So the narrator here is going around saying or interviewing other people about Obama and what he stands for, and they really don't know much about him. They just know he's a Black man running for president, and that's basically the sole reason why they are voting for him. And when he says this quote here, he's actually talking about Riley Freeman, but it could really be applied to every character in the episodes besides Huey, and I'll get into that later, because most people don't know what he stands for. And for the inauguration, I have indifference becomes equal to hate. So Huey here is not the biggest fan of Obama. He doesn't have a specific dislike against him. He just thinks he's another overhyped politician, and believes that all politicians are the same no matter what color they are. And he doesn't really idolize Obama the way the rest of his peers do. And when he publicly expresses his opinion about Obama, people misinterpret it as he hates Obama and that he didn't want a Black president. So a small crowd forms, and Huey ends up getting attacked, and it leads to Granddad having to drive away really fast. Uncle Ruckus is a character who comes in between the mob, and he's like, "What's going on?" And they're all like, "Oh, like he says he hates Obama," and Uncle Ruckus is like, "Yeah, I hate him too." But the differences in the reasoning between Huey and Uncle Ruckus is significant, because Huey doesn't really say he doesn't like Obama. He just thinks all politicians are the same, like I said earlier. And Uncle Ruckus simply doesn't like Obama because he's Black, which is a little bit of incongruity there, because Uncle Ruckus himself is a Black man. So when you look at that, it's the hatred that Uncle Ruckus has for other Black people is kind of surprising, considering that he is a Black man himself. And then it takes you to present day, and this is a quote from Granddad here, where it says his promises are just like his tickets, worthless. So in the episode, Obama sends out inauguration tickets to everyone who requests them. However, not many people get into the inauguration. So when he refers to those tickets, he refers to those inauguration tickets that Obama gave him. And present day, many things just go back to normal. No one's really wearing Obama merch anymore. Everyone's kind of just realizing that he's just like any other president, which is standard. And the last episode I have here is The Block is Hot. So this is Jasmine, who is the daughter of the Dubois family. They're not pictured anywhere, but she's an important side character. So she creates a lemonade stand on a unreasonably hot day. So she's like selling lemonade because she wants to buy a pony, a classic dream for a 10-year-old girl. And then Mr. Wunsler, who is a big businessman, he's also a really big scammer. He actually tricks Jasmine into signing this contract, which is illegal because she's 10 years old, but her father allows it, and he ends up overworking her, and he doesn't pay her for anything. And she falls for it because he promises her a pony, which she never gets. The reoccurring joke here is that Huey is made fun of wearing a winter coat on a hot summer day. So there's a little bit of superiority theory there, because or superiority there, because the characters themselves feel superior to Huey because they are like, why are you wearing this giant coat? And even in moments in that episode, it'll get serious, where Huey is trying to explain to Jasmine about how she's getting exploited for child labor, and she's like yelling at him back. And then she's also like, after she's finished, she's like, why are you wearing that stupid coat? So it's kind of the reoccurring joke there. So following into my conclusions, I have comedy can make it easy to address highly controversial subjects. I think that's pretty straightforward. Comedy could help simply have a bigger conversation. Um, Humor makes everything pretty much lighthearted. So, talking about a highly controversial topic through humor is a decent way to go. It gets the conversation started. Putting boundaries on comedy risks and limiting conversation, thus allowing ignorance. Um, so comedy can cross the line sometimes. It's a bit controversial. However, there's always a chance to educate and correct yourself, whereas if you ignore something that needs to be addressed, in the conversation just goes underneath the table, it allows room for ignorance. And that's kind of the point of the show, that they're trying to express conversation that needs to be had in society and expand the conversation with race and the problems with law enforcement and the way the media portrays Black people. And having a person of color address fault in their community is one step closer to a better society. So when discussing this, Aaron is a Black man himself, and not only is he, it's kind of a reflection thing. You always have to look, before you can criticize others, you have to kind of look at yourself, and that's what he does with this show. He looks at the Black community, figures out what can we do better as a community, and then how can we have others do better? Like, we have to do better on our part for others to do better. And my conclusions personally was, critique and comedy go hand in hand, but sometimes it can distract the audience from understanding the message. So with comedy, sometimes people focus more on the joke instead of the message. So the message kind of goes really over their head. That's kind of what I'm saying there. And comedy allows us to laugh and learn at our faults. When you're called out on something, it's a bit more personal. It's a bit more, it's easier to get more emotional because it has something to do with you. However, if you do it in the comedic way, it's a little bit easier to have that conversation. And expectations are not always reality. And you see that in It's a Black President Huey Freeman and The Block is Hot, where Jasmine expects this pony and she's expecting to get it through hard work. However, she never gets it because she was lied to. And in the Black President Huey Freeman, you see all the characters who expected Obama to do all these outlandish things that just weren't happening, simply because they thought just because Obama's Black that he's going to do everything that I want to happen in America. But that concludes my presentation. Thank you all for listening. I hope it was enjoyable for the most part, and thank you.